thank you all for clicking on this video. I am so happy you're here. I am joined today by Edwin here. He is one of the devs that is making Tales of Centropolis. Is that correct? Did I say that right?
Yeah, Tales from Centropolis.
Nailed it. So happy you're here today, Edwin. Super pumped to talk to you, pick your brain, and just learn some more about your project, which looks amazing, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate
this
it.
art is fantastic. I love it so much. But yeah, thank you for being here. Tell us a little bit about yourself. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah,
it's been especially with the Kickstarter going, it's been quite the experience. So emotional roller coaster.
Yes.
Get excited some days, other days a little discouraged, but we're optimistic for the most part.
Yeah, I was taking a look at your Kickstarter here, and I mean, so you have 30 days to go. When did this kick off?
It kicked off maybe about a week ago, a week and a half ago. So yeah, so it's hey, keep in mind that we decided to tackle this on our own.
Okay.
Usually, most Kickstarters, they have basically outside support from agencies, from maybe publishers. We don't have access to any of that stuff.
Sure.
So we figured, you know what, let's just try the giving it a shot ourselves, the grassroots method, by just reaching out to our social media followers, trying to get other social media influencers to sort of spread the word.
Yeah.
And, we got to this point, and honestly, even despite the outcome of the Kickstarter, I mean, I'm pretty proud that we raised that much on our own.
Seriously, I mean,
yeah.
I don't have a ton of experience on Kickstarter with Kickstarter, so to me that seems like with just a week in, and you're 1/3 of the way there. That's awesome.
I mean, I was surprised, honestly, that we even got any pledges. Like I when we launched them, like, in the back of my mind, you're always thinking of the worst case scenario.
Sure.
Like, maybe we might get $1,000. Maybe our goal is way too high. Maybe we kind of overshot it. Maybe no one really knows the game is around. And we've been just blown away by the reception that we've gotten so far. And it just nothing but motivation.
I gotta ask a little bit more about this art style, because it's so striking and it looks so good. You mentioned that you were in graphic. You're a graphic artist, is that correct?
Yeah, I was a comic artist.
Before
the comic bubble burst.
Okay.
So it was quite a long time ago.
Yeah.
I never got a chance to publish a comic or illustrate a comic that was my story. I mean, I essentially just illustrated or penciled for indie titles, which is great. But it was always a case that I was kind of self-conscious about my own writing.
Sure.
So like, let me just write someone else. Like, let me illustrate someone else's story. And so after a while, you realize, like, I'm just telling someone else's story. I'm not telling my own, and that was kind of the itch.
Yeah.
To want to do a graphic novel. Of course, like, once the story was done and once I began illustrating the graphic novel, because some of these images are from the graphic novel that I pulled.
Okay.
We had to go back and sort of slightly revamp the script to format it more towards a video game.
Yeah.
But not much. Yeah, not much was cut out. But I do feel like we kind of overwrote the script a bit.
Yeah.
And so now, after the Kickstarter, we may have to revisit and sort of whittle it down just a little bit more. But yeah, I have a illustration background. That's my passion, is just comics in general.
Totally.
The art of comic illustration. And when it came down to decision, the reason why I think it clicked to make this a game was, it was sort of like, what's better than not just a comic book, but more of an interactive comic book?
Yeah.
Is like sort of having that immersive nature of someone not just reading it, but being part of the story.
Yeah.
And I think that's what gravitated me to actually work on the game instead. So Not saying that I will never do a graphic novel of Tales from Centropolis. I absolutely do.
Yeah.
But I'm right now, like, first step, get the game, and then next step, I'll look into working on a graphic novel, so side story.
That is super exciting. So with this game specifically, you do see a future past this game, like
I do
graphic novels. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
I want it to be sort of like not just a quick detective tale, because the good thing is that because he's a private eye, it opens the doors of so many odd stories. Like I can imagine him one story getting to more of like a Lovecraftian sort of tale.
Yeah.
Like getting into like the dark macabre of that type of thing. So like there's so many things I could do with this character. I'm open to exploring outside of Tales from Centropolis.
Yeah.
This is more or less the introduction to the world.
Oh, so almost like a Doctor Who, where they kind of go on a different adventure every episode.
Different adventure, exactly.
That's so cool, and the possibilities for that are just endless. Yeah. Did you know, or when did it become evident that you wanted to take this project to the next level? Like, hey, like this is becoming something more than maybe we expected, and we're going to kind of dive full into this.
Honestly, like we really didn't, like that conclusion didn't come to us till the Kickstarter.
Okay.
Like this project has been so close to the chest. Like I have family members that weren't even aware. Like my mom wasn't even aware that I was making a game. Yeah. So it was one of those things that we were just working on this between us, and we were modestly sharing it on Twitter. Yeah. But then the reception once Kickstarter began, we're realizing this is a lot bigger than we thought it was going to be. And so now the pressure's on to make sure this is the best possible game we can make, between the two of us. So like we're still sort of going through those motions and realizing this isn't just some side project. It was one of those things we just worked on it at night, on the weekends, and we just enjoyed working on it. And now it's like, this is actually going to get released to the public. Like people are gonna see it in Steam right now. We're getting coverage from like little indie game magazines, and we just didn't expect any of this, to be honest with you. So it's weird, honestly. Like we find it weird.
No, I can imagine something that you've been playing kind of close to the chest, and then people finally see it and they're excited about it. It's probably a very cool feeling, because you care about it so much, and then other people care about it, probably not as much as you, but they care about it and they want to see it come to fruition. It's probably very exciting.
We're still adjusting to it, because even when people talk about the game, it just feels strange to us, because we never expected anyone to even talk about it. But it's I think that we owe it to now, especially now, we definitely owe it to the followers to really take this thing all the way home. I mean, I get this question asked a lot when it comes to the Kickstarter campaign, and people say, "Oh, well, hope it meets the goal, because I really would like to see this game finished." And I usually assure them that there's no way this game is not getting completed. The Kickstarter essentially is meant to expedite the process, that release date, to get it sooner, because with the Kickstarter campaign, with the funds, it'll allow us to have a budget to sort of commission other artists to work on certain things. This way we're not spreading ourselves too thin, because consider the fact that we're just two guys. I could fall and break my arm, and then we're out a designer for several months. So it'll allow us to say, okay, I can commission a bunch of portraits for these NPCs. I can design it and just give it to them to design the portraits. I can bosses, I can give it to other people to design the bosses. So it'll just allow us to sort of expand a little further and close that gap between the final release date. But if the Kickstarter doesn't make the goal, that's fine. I mean, I think it's still a success no matter what. And I think that we're more than ever motivated to finishing it.
That's
So
yeah.
so
That is,
it's gonna get done. Yeah,
yeah,
no matter what.
that's so cool. I think I mean the art style for this game is so striking that I feel like it always catches your eye. You know, even if you're
Appreciate
just
that.
scrolling, yeah, it always catches my eye. Which is why I reached out to you because it really looks like you have something special here, and I was excited to talk to you about it.
We try to make sure that I remember when we first started, the sprites sort of appeared like your standard, JRPG sprites,
Okay.
and it just felt weird. Like it felt off. It didn't feel like we were doing anything special. And then I think the thing that motivated me to sort of change the design was William mentioned. I think you need to give it more character.
Okay.
And once he said that, I realized I know what he's talking about. It's like I'm a cartoonist at heart. I can easily just create a character. I don't have to make it look like anything else. I can just use my own design, use my own style, and sort of achieve that. So I started working my own style into the characters, and as well as, which is pretty important, looking at the attire that people wore at the time, which is another thing that took time to figure out. Furniture, deciding like, okay, like as we're designing this type of furniture didn't exist. This type of furniture did. So yeah, it was something where I had to develop a style of the characters as well as make sure that I'm within the guidelines of the 1920s.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I wanted to jump back to you talking about, how you're kind of working on social media right now, because I think that is an important part of kind of getting your name out there, getting eyes on your stuff. What do you do? Clearly you're doing something right, because you got something going on here.
Yeah, there's a lot of missteps. Like as you... Like if you look at the earlier posts, man, they were just not very good. I just honestly, like, I didn't even have a Twitter account before starting this game, and I probably had maybe actually I did. I had 0 posts on my Facebook account, my personal page. So I knew nothing about this stuff.
Sure.
I'm kind of more of a private person, so I'm not really into social media. But once the game, we were working on this thing, we're gonna have to dive into social media and figure this stuff out. So it's still a learning process. Marketing is a huge feat.
Yes.
And it's a skill set that I think most indie devs should learn, not just development and design, but I think marketing is hugely important. A lot of times that's put off, and before you realize it, like you're working on this project and no one knows about it. So it's good to get on it as soon as possible, sort of excite people about the project, the progression of the project. You shouldn't wait at all. And of course, like it's a huge learning curve. You are gonna be discouraged along the way. Like you'll post things and you're like, I don't think anyone saw these posts. I got like 0 likes. But you got to keep at it. It's one of those things where you got to keep at it, but make sure that it doesn't interfere with the project. Because there was a few times where William and I were like, I think we're posting too much and we're not giving us enough time to work on the project that we're supposed to be working on. So it's an even balance, social media and working on the project. But.
Yes, I know that all too well, because it is tempting to get that the numbers, you can see the numbers go up and you want those numbers to go higher. So I know that struggle very well.
Try not to pay too much attention to it. I think that's what I think helped me out, is not like try not to care too much, because it's the early stages of the project, right? The only thing you can do is post, engage with people, but don't pay too much attention to your audience and the growth as much, because I think that it'll drive you nuts. It happened to me in the beginning. I'm like, oh my god, I gained like 10 followers today, and I'm just doing laps, because of it. And when I see the number drop by 1, I'm like, oh, just depression. So I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm not going to look at this anymore. I'm just going to continue posting. This is my set schedule. Scheduling posts is a blessing. So usually when it came to social media, I pick a day and say, okay, I'm going to schedule all my posts for the week on this day. And I think that helps tremendously, and it just the only thing you do when you jump on social media is hit up the replies.
Yeah.
You know, but don't focus too much, attention on the numbers.
Definitely.
You know, be organic about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Organic and authentic. Authenticity, I think, is huge.
Yeah, of course.
For people, because they really gravitate towards that, I think. I wanted to ask you another question about your Kickstarter before we wrap it up here. So, did you have anything that you kind of based your Kickstarter off of? Where did you market your Kickstarter? I know a lot of people are going to have questions about Kickstarter because, it's either you go Kickstarter or you get a publisher. And you guys, do you view yourself as just going Kickstarter, or do you think a publisher could be in the future?
It's still up in the air. We decided not to dwell too much on a publisher, because let's say we decide to go with a publisher or decide that's the route we want to take. Right now, like, we want to wait till we're further along within the game. I don't think it'd be fair to a publisher to seek them out and then tell them, oh well, we have this amount of time till we're finished. Quite a long time. So we want to make sure that we're comfortable enough to say, okay, maybe we can now consider a publisher.
Yeah.
However, it's not something that we're outright seeking at the moment. I think that we've gotten this far on our own, and it's kind of like we want to see how far we can get it, like how far we can take this without any help. Like the Kickstarter, for example, we've had people contact us, agencies that they can help us drive this Kickstarter to 100,000 for a cut, and we decided against it. We're like, you know what, I think that at the end of the day, this is a good learning lesson, because baptized by fire, like we know nothing about marketing, and so let's just try it. Like, what's the worst case scenario? We just don't meet the goal. Like, we don't have any overhead. Like, it's just me and William working on this. The only expense we have is essentially that Unity subscription. Like, what are we? There's no tangible items that we're spending money on. So we're just back where we were before we started the Kickstarter. So it's not something where the money's a driving factor. Sure, it'll be great for us to receive that, those funds to sort of get to that finish line sooner. But yeah, it's not the end of the world for us. But yeah, marketing is very hard, very time consuming, and we just wanted to take a crack at it.
Yeah. Did you have a background, or William have a background in marketing, or
no?
Okay.
No, not at all.
So you kind of just learned it on the fly. Is there any tips?
Yeah. I think start early. I think honestly, like there's a few mistakes we made along the way, but it's not really mistakes. It's something that we weren't aware of. Like, for example, like if I were to give advice to someone who wants to start a Kickstarter, start early. Get make sure you get your pre-launch page up as soon as possible. Run lead ads on Facebook. I wasn't aware of what they were and how they work until we already started the Kickstarter, and I remember running them for like a week on Kickstarter lead ads, and I didn't know what happens afterwards. Like, okay, I ran it for a week. What now? No one was there to teach us exactly what to do. Yeah. So then after the Kickstarter, once the Kickstarter fired up, I revisited our Facebook account and checked the audience. And like, hold on, we got like 200 people in here. Yeah. We could have easily sent out email blasts to all these people. We had no idea. Yeah. So sort of learning about everything you possibly can, the correct way of running Facebook ads, and just hitting social media, like going ahead and just making sure that you speak to other people, ask them if it's possible, like, can you retweet this? I mean, retweet costs nothing. Yeah. Like if someone wants to retweet, wants us to retweet, not a problem. We just retweet. If you ask someone politely, can you possibly retweet this? We're trying to get awareness of our game. Yeah. Most of the time, they're going to be perfectly fine with it. Nice. So doing that grassroots and just getting out there. Yeah. You could go for an agency, but we decided against it. We'd rather this be a learning lesson, because if we decide to relaunch the Kickstarter, or even in the future do another Kickstarter for a different game,
Yeah.
we learned so much from this experience.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
It's priceless. Like honestly, like it's worth way more than the any pledge or the goal that we had in mind.
Yeah.
So we took a lot from this at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So yeah, but marketing is key. I would suggest everyone learn marketing as much as possible.
Yeah. Was there any classes you took, or like you just mentioned, it was kind of just learn as you went?
Learn as I went, make mistakes. Don't be afraid to make mistakes.
That's what I hear.
Because a lot of times I find that a lot of marketing people, especially within the indie game industry, they keep it very close to the chest, the key secrets of marketing.
Yeah.
So you're going to have a hard time like finding a legit YouTube video or asking anyone. I mean, I've gone to Discord, like indie game channels where they have marketing section. I can't begin to tell you how many people told us just to cancel our Kickstarter. It's gonna fail.
Oh, man.
I'm like, come on, come on, dude. Yeah. So I'm like, I can't imagine myself like if someone came to me with an early indie game project and me telling them, go back to art school. You're not gonna learn. Quit the game right now and go back to art school. I would never do that. So it's not very encouraging. Those channels. So just make mistakes. And just learn from them. But do those early.
Yes.
Don't wait till last minute.
That's what the saying is: fail fast, or fail hard, fail fast, or something like that. Where the more mistakes you make, the more you learn. And the more you grow,
of course,
and you're not going to grow without making those mistakes.
Exactly. You can't be afraid of it. I mean, the learning experience is worth more than anything else.
And that is,
you know not to make those mistakes again, and you grow from that point.
Yes, it's just so difficult because it is myself included, are afraid of that failure, but in reality, you grow from it, and that's. We've
failed quite a bit. I mean, there's been mechanics that we abandoned, on our game, but we ended up coming with better ideas and better approaches, that worked out. So it's part of that process. You can't be afraid of it.
Totally.
So don't be discouraged.
Edwin, thank you for being here.
My pleasure. This is great.
This is fantastic. It's been such a pleasure to speak with you, and motivating and inspiring. And I can't imagine the people that are going to watch this and feel the same way. Yeah, totally.
This is a lot of fun. Honestly, the first podcast I've ever been on.
Oh, fantastic.
So it's a new experience.
Yes.
Pretty happy.
I'm just curious, is there any parting advice that you would want to give to anybody looking to get into indie games, or even illustrators or anything like that? Is there any advice that you'd want to give to them?
I would say that we're at a time where everything is much more accessible than it was before, and there's really no reason to not try and at least take a shot at it. Like if I recall back in the days, no one could make an indie game. There weren't all these engines out there that are free. You can't be afraid to just give it a shot.
Yes. Well, again, Edwin, thank you so much for doing this.
All right, thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're an inspiration to many, I assume.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So if you want to check out all this, go back them up on Kickstarter. All their links will be in the description below. Go check them out, and follow them on Twitter to get updates on their project. But again, Edwin, thank you for being here. And
thank you for having me.
We'll see you all next time. You guys have a good one.